All right, hi everyone. This is Chapter 8, Lesson 2, Area of a Circle. So last time we talked about the circumference, which is the outside of a circle. So when you're comparing it to other shapes, like rectangles, this would be the perimeter. So the circumference is like the perimeter of a circle. Okay, and now we're going to talk about area, which is the same whether you're talking about rectangles, squares, triangles, circles. Okay? So the formula for the area of a circle is A equals pi r squared. Okay, so you're going to take the radius, it always has to be the radius, and you're going to square it, you're going to multiply that answer by pi. Now a semicircle is half of a regular circle. So in that blank, that first blank, you're going to write semicircle. Okay, so since a semicircle is half of a circle, the formula for the area of a semicircle is A equals 1/2 times pi times r squared. Okay, remember, when numbers are right next to each other like this, there's a multiplication sign in between them. All right, so if we're finding the area of a circle, I'm going to use 3.14 for pi, which is typically what is used for pi. Last time when we were dealing with circumference, we did 22/7, and that's because of some of the manipulations that you can do with circles. That's also what Archimedes used, was 22/7. But for right now, we're going to use 3.14. That's typically what you use for pi. All right, so when I find the area, they gave me the radius, which is great. So I'm going to take the radius squared, which is 2 squared. So 2 times 2 is 4, which is right up here, times 3.14 equals approximately 12.56. Remember, again, pi is an irrational number, so you cannot have an exact for the area. Okay? It'll always be approximately, and that's what the wavy lines symbolize. Okay? The second problem I have says find the area of a semicircle. Okay, so you can see that there is a full circle here, but only half of it is shaded. We're finding the semicircle, so the bottom half of that. Again, use 3.14 for pi and round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so the area of a semicircle is 1/2 pi times the radius squared. So I have a diameter here. Remember from last lesson, diameter is half radius. So radius times 2 is the diameter. So 16 divided by 2 equals my radius. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. Okay, so I'm going to take 8 squared, which is 64. 8 times 8 is 64, times 3.14 times 0.5, or 1/2, which gives me approximately 100.5. And I rounded to, of course, the 10th place, which is one place after the decimal. Okay, so the area of a semicircle is approximately 100.5 square inches, or inches squared. Remember, we're finding area, so the area is always going to be squared. Your units will always be squared. All right, there are a couple of try it problems out below. I want you to go ahead, pause the video, try them out, and when you're done, we'll go over the answers together. All right, now that you've had a chance to try out the try it problems, let's go over the answers together. So there are no drawings here, so if you would like to, you are welcome to draw. You don't have to, but you're welcome to. If it helps you realize and show these things, you can do that, okay? So if I have a circle with a radius of 3.2 centimeters and I'm rounding to the nearest tenth, okay? So I have a circle, radius 3.2, so r equals 3.2 centimeters. Area of a circle is pi times r squared, which is really like saying r times r. So r squared. So A equals pi times r times r. So A equals 3.14, because that's what they told us to use for pi, okay, times 3.2 times 3.2. So when I put that into my calculator, I get 32.1536. And they told me to round to the nearest tenth. Well, here's my nearest tenth right here, which is 1. I look at the number right next to it, which is a 5. Remember, 5 and up tells me to bump it up. So when I round this, A equals 32.2. And it was centimeters squared, or squared centimeters. Okay. For the second problem, it says find the approximate area of a semicircle with a radius of 6 centimeters. So again, they gave me a radius, which is great. I don't have to do anything else with that. So the area of a semicircle is A equals 1/2 times pi times my radius squared. So A equals 1/2 times pi times 6 times 6, or 6 squared. So 6 squared is 36. Okay. So when I do this, 1/2 times 3.14 times 36, I get 56.52. So A is the area of a semicircle is approximately 56.52 squared centimeters. And that is the end of Chapter 8, Lesson 2.